Today we step into the steady, ambitious, and masterful energy of Capricorn, or the 10th house. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is the sign of structure, discipline, and endurance. The 10th house mirrors this energy. It governs career, reputation, purpose, and the legacy we build in the world. When planets gather here, their influence becomes visible and lasting, shaping how we climb, achieve, and define success. This placement creates someone with a deep sense of responsibility and a drive to build something meaningful. You are drawn to goals that stand the test of time, to paths that demand effort and reward perseverance. At your best, you embody integrity, wisdom, and quiet strength, capable of turning dreams into solid achievements. At your most unbalanced, you may struggle with fear of failure, overwork, or the weight of expectation, needing to remember that true success comes with balance, not just endurance. In relationships, stability and loyalty matter deeply. You value commitment and trust, seeking bonds that support growth and reliability. Yet it's also important to let vulnerability soften the armour of ambition, to allow tenderness alongside purpose. In career, Capricorn and the 10th house represent mastery. Here the planets push you to lead, to build, to take responsibility. Your path may rise slowly, but it leads to lasting accomplishment and respect. Patience and persistence are your greatest allies. In health, your well-being often mirrors your sense of structure. When life feels ordered and purposeful, your vitality strengthens. But stress, pressure, or rigid expectations can weigh heavily, reminding you to rest and release control when needed. Financially, Capricorn and the 10th house favour slow, steady progress. Wealth here is built through strategy, discipline, and endurance. Over time, you can achieve stability that feels earned, secure, and deeply rewarding. When Capricorn or the 10th house appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign to take responsibility for your path. The universe is asking for commitment to your purpose, your integrity, and the legacy you are here to create. So ask yourself, am I shying away from the effort my dreams require? Or am I ready to step into my power and build something that lasts? Because Capricorn and the 10th house teach that true success is not born overnight, but through patience, perseverance, and the quiet courage to keep climbing until you reach the summit of your purpose. Today we step into the grounded, disciplined, and ambitious energy of the Sun in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. The Sun represents vitality, purpose, and identity. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is patient, determined, and focused on achievement. The 10th house mirrors these qualities. It governs career, public image, and the legacy we leave behind. When the sun shines here, its light becomes structured and enduring, making this one of the most purposeful placements in the zodiac. This placement creates someone with a powerful sense of direction and a deep desire to accomplish something lasting. You are driven to build, to achieve, and to earn respect through effort and perseverance. At your best, you are wise, responsible, and resilient, a natural leader who commands respect not through force, but through integrity and consistency. At your most unbalanced, you may struggle with self-doubt, perfectionism, or an overemphasis on status, needing to remember that your worth is not defined solely by achievement. In relationships, loyalty and reliability matter deeply. You show love through commitment, stability, and quiet devotion. Yet it's important to balance responsibility with softness, to allow emotional warmth and vulnerability alongside your strength. In career, the sun here thrives in leadership, management, law, politics, business, or any field that demands dedication and long-term focus. You are capable of building something that stands the test of time, and success often comes gradually, through persistence rather than luck. In health, vitality is linked to balance between work and rest. You may push yourself hard in pursuit of goals, but long-term wellness depends on grounding, sleep, and self-care. True strength includes knowing when to pause. Financially, the sun in Capricorn, or the 10th house, brings the potential for slow, steady growth. Discipline, strategy, and patience lead to stability and abundance. Though you may need to guard against overwork or fear of scarcity. When the sun in Capricorn or the 10th house appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign to take your goals seriously. A new opportunity for leadership, recognition, or mastery is emerging, one that calls you to step fully into your purpose. So ask yourself, am I holding back out of fear of failure? Or am I ready to commit to the steady climb that leads to lasting success? Because the sun in Capricorn or the 10th house teaches that true purpose is not found in shortcuts, but in the quiet strength to build something meaningful, one step at a time. Today we step into the focused, strategic, and disciplined energy of Mercury in Capricorn or in the 10th house. Mercury represents the mind, communication, and perception. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is practical, methodical, and ambitious. The 10th house mirrors this energy. It governs career, structure, and the legacy we build through our words and actions. When Mercury is here, its influence becomes steady and precise, making this one of the most thoughtful and pragmatic placements in the zodiac. This placement creates someone with a mind for structure and achievement. You think in terms of long-term plans, measurable goals, and concrete results. At your best, you are wise, disciplined, and articulate, capable of turning complex ideas into strategies that stand the test of time. At your most unbalanced, you may struggle with overthinking, pessimism, or fear of failure, needing to trust that your careful approach already holds the key to success. In relationships, you communicate with sincerity and purpose. You value honesty, consistency, and mature dialogue. While you may not express emotion easily, your words carry weight and reliability, and those who know you well understand the depth behind your calm tone. In career, Mercury here thrives in management, law, business, teaching, or politics. Any path where strategic thinking and communication shape the outcome. You have a natural gift for planning, structuring, and leading through wisdom. Your words can build empires when used with integrity. In health, mental balance comes through order and discipline. Too much responsibility or pressure may lead to stress, so grounding practices and clear boundaries keep your thoughts steady and focused. Financially, Mercury in Capricorn or the 10th house encourages intelligent planning and strategic decisions. You may prefer practical investments and long-term security over quick gains. Over time, your patience pays off. When Mercury in Capricorn or the 10th house appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign to think strategically. A decision, conversation, or idea is forming, one that could shape your long-term path or reputation. So ask yourself, am I doubting my voice? Or am I ready to speak with the authority and clarity that success requires? Because Mercury in Capricorn or the 10th house teaches that wisdom is not about speaking quickly, but about speaking with purpose, grounding vision in structure, and turning thought into achievement. Today we step into the devoted, refined, and quietly powerful energy of Venus in Capricorn or in the 10th house. Venus represents love, beauty, pleasure, and values. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is disciplined, ambitious, and focused on achievement. The 10th house mirrors these themes. It governs career, reputation, and the legacy we leave behind. When Venus settles here, its influence becomes poised and enduring, making this one of the most loyal and self-controlled expressions of love and creativity in the zodiac. This placement creates someone who values stability, integrity, and long-term commitment. You are drawn to relationships and goals that stand the test of time. At your best, you love with quiet strength and unwavering loyalty, expressing affection through reliability, support, and shared purpose. At your most unbalanced, you may guard your heart too tightly or seek approval through status or success, needing to remember that love and worth are not measured by achievement. In relationships, you seek depth, maturity, and trust. You prefer love that grows slowly but deeply, built on shared values and respect. Though you may appear reserved, your devotion runs deep. You show love through constancy rather than words alone. In career, Venus here thrives in leadership, business, design, diplomacy, or public roles that demand grace and responsibility. You have a natural sense of refinement and presence, capable of attracting respect and admiration through professionalism and elegance. In health, balance comes from pacing yourself and nurturing beauty in the everyday. When life becomes too rigid, pleasure and self-care restore harmony. Surrounding yourself with calm, well-ordered spaces supports emotional well-being. Financially, Venus in Capricorn, or the 10th house, favours steady growth and wise investment. You may work hard for what you have, but your patience and discernment lead to lasting rewards. When Venus in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign to commit to what truly matters. A relationship goal or creative pursuit is ready to move from dream to structure, from potential to permanence. So ask yourself, am I holding back my heart out of fear, or am I ready to build love and beauty that lasts? Because Venus in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that true devotion is not fleeting or dramatic. It is steady, loyal, and built upon the quiet strength of commitment and integrity. Today we step into the steady, disciplined, and quietly determined energy of the moon in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. The moon represents emotions, instincts, and inner needs. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is practical, patient, and responsible. The 10th house reflects these themes. It governs ambition, reputation, and the structures we build to give our lives meaning. When the moon rests here, its emotional energy becomes grounded and focused, making this one of the most composed and self-reliant placements in the zodiac. This placement creates someone who feels safest when life is under control and purposefully directed. You are driven to create security through structure, achievement, and long-term goals. At your best, you embody emotional strength, wisdom, and quiet resilience. At your most unbalanced, you may suppress your feelings or take on too much responsibility, forgetting that vulnerability is also a form of strength. In relationships, you value loyalty, reliability, and mutual respect. You show care through action rather than words, by being dependable, protective, and present. Yet it's important to let softness coexist with strength, to allow yourself to be supported as well as to support others. In career, the moon here thrives in leadership, management, public service, or any field that rewards persistence and professionalism. You are emotionally connected to your ambitions, and your sense of fulfillment often comes through success, mastery, and recognition for your dedication. In health, your emotional balance depends on rest and realistic boundaries. You may push yourself too hard or neglect your needs in pursuit of goals. Gentle routines, nature, and reflection help to release pressure and maintain inner peace. Financially, security brings comfort. You prefer practical, well-planned strategies and tend to build stability slowly and steadily. You find satisfaction in creating a legacy that endures. When the moon in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign to take emotional responsibility while honouring your needs. You are being called to balance ambition with nurture and duty with gentleness. So ask yourself, am I carrying the weight of the world alone, or am I allowing space for care, rest, and emotional truth? Because the moon in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that true strength is not found in never bending, but in knowing when to soften and allowing achievement to be guided by heart as well as discipline. Today we step into the steady, disciplined, and purpose-driven energy of the North Node in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. The North Node represents your soul's direction, the lessons you are meant to master in this lifetime. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is the sign of structure, responsibility, and endurance. The 10th house mirrors these themes. It governs career, achievement, and the legacy you build in the world. When the North Node is here, your destiny lies in growing through commitment, maturity, and self-mastery. This placement creates a soul that is learning to step into leadership, to take responsibility for its path, and to move from emotional dependency to independence and authority. At your best, you become a builder of stability and purpose, capable of guiding others through your example. At your most unbalanced, you may cling to comfort or avoid accountability, needing to trust that true fulfillment comes through effort, structure, and discipline. In relationships, you are learning to balance care with boundaries. In the past, you may have been overly focused on emotional security or nurturing others, but this lifetime asks you to cultivate self-reliance and emotional strength, to love without losing your own sense of direction. In career, the North Node here calls you toward leadership, ambition, and the creation of something lasting. You are meant to climb, to build, and to achieve through persistence. Recognition comes as a result of dedication, not luck. Your growth lies in becoming the authority of your own life. In health, balance comes from pacing yourself and respecting the limits of your body. You may feel pressure to take on too much, but true resilience is built through rest as much as effort. Financially, this placement encourages you to create lasting stability through responsibility and wise management. Long-term planning, patience, and integrity become the cornerstones of your success. When the North Node in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign to take charge of your destiny. The universe is asking you to step into your authority, to shape your future through discipline, wisdom, and purposeful action. So ask yourself, am I clinging to comfort out of fear of responsibility? Or am I ready to build the life I was born to create? Because the North Node in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that true fulfillment is not found in waiting for direction, but in becoming the architect of your own path, building a legacy of strength, purpose, and integrity that stands the test of time. Today we step into the steady, structured, and ambitious energy of the South Node in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. The South Node represents the past, the qualities, habits, and experiences that feel familiar, yet must be balanced for growth. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is the sign of discipline, achievement, and endurance. The 10th house mirrors these same themes. It governs career, ambition, reputation, and the legacy we build in the outer world. When the South Node is here, your soul has already mastered the realm of responsibility, control, and worldly success. This placement creates someone who instinctively knows how to lead, organize, and achieve. In past lives, or earlier in this one, you may have been dedicated to duty, striving for status, or carrying great responsibility. You understand ambition and the power of structure. At your best, you are capable, dependable, and wise. At your most unbalanced, you may become overly focused on work, control, or external validation, forgetting the importance of emotional connection and inner peace. In relationships, you may default to being the responsible one, the provider, the guide, the steady anchor. Yet your soul's growth now asks you to soften, to nurture, and to let others see your vulnerability. True strength is found not only in holding everything together, but in allowing space for care and emotional honesty. In career, you have natural skill in leadership and long-term planning, but this lifetime asks for balance, to ensure that your identity is not defined solely by what you achieve. Success is important, but so too is feeling safe, loved, and emotionally fulfilled. In health, stress or fatigue may arise from constant striving or self-imposed pressure. Slowing down, spending time in nature, and reconnecting with your inner world will restore balance and vitality. Financially, you may be instinctively disciplined, cautious, and ambitious. While this brings stability, it's important not to let fear or control block the natural flow of abundance. When the South Node in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign to release the need for constant control or achievement. Your soul is being called to return to the heart, to nurture, to feel, and to build your inner world with as much care as your outer one. So ask yourself, am I defining my worth through what I achieve? Or am I learning to find value in simply being? Because the South Node in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that while mastery and success are gifts you already possess, your growth now lies in rediscovering softness, emotion, and the quiet strength of the heart. Today we step into the disciplined, determined, and quietly powerful energy of Mars in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. Mars represents drive, ambition, and how we take action. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is patient, strategic, and focused on long-term achievement. The 10th house mirrors these qualities. It governs career, purpose, and public life. When Mars is here, its energy becomes refined, focused, and deeply effective, making this one of the most productive and successful placements in the zodiac. This placement creates someone with immense willpower and endurance. You are driven by ambition, motivated to build something meaningful, and willing to put in the work that others might avoid. At your best, you are calm under pressure, capable of leading with quiet authority and achieving mastery through patience and persistence. At your most unbalanced, you may become controlling, work-obsessed, or overly rigid, needing to remember that progress comes through balance, not burnout. In relationships, you show passion through reliability and support. You are protective and loyal, preferring steady bonds built on trust and mutual respect. Yet it's important to allow spontaneity and warmth to soften your serious approach, keeping love alive alongside duty. In career, Mars here thrives in leadership, management, business, politics, or any field demanding discipline and ambition. You excel when you have clear goals and the freedom to work toward them on your own terms. Your drive for success is unmatched, and you often reach your goals through sheer endurance and strategy. In health, your stamina is strong, but stress can build when you suppress emotion or push too hard. Regular rest, grounding practices, and time away from responsibility help maintain long-term strength and balance. Financially, Mars in Capricorn, or the 10th house, brings ambition and strategic thinking. You're skilled at turning effort into reward, and your patience ensures slow but steady progress toward lasting security. When Mars in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign to take focused action. A goal, project, or opportunity is calling for discipline, courage, and long-term commitment, and success will follow your steady effort. So ask yourself, am I hesitating out of fear of failure? Or am I ready to move with purpose and authority toward what I truly desire? Because Mars in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that real power is not found in haste or impulse, but in steady effort, unwavering focus, and the strength to keep climbing until you reach the summit. Today we step into the disciplined, wise, and quietly ambitious energy of Jupiter in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. Jupiter represents growth, faith, and expansion. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is structured, strategic, and focused on long-term achievement. The 10th house mirrors these qualities. It governs career, reputation, and the legacy we create through dedication. When Jupiter resides here, its expansive energy becomes grounded and purposeful, making this one of the most mature and steady placements in the zodiac. This placement creates someone whose growth comes through responsibility, patience, and integrity. You are learning that success is not born from luck alone, but from consistent effort and self-belief. At your best, you blend optimism with realism, faith with strategy, and vision with discipline, creating a path of lasting success. At your most unbalanced, you may struggle with fear of failure, self-doubt, or the temptation to overwork, forgetting that wisdom grows not only from effort, but also from trust in divine timing. In relationships, you value loyalty, reliability, and shared goals. You may prefer bonds that grow slowly, but offer stability and mutual respect. Love deepens through commitment and shared purpose, and you attract partners who appreciate your strength and sense of direction. In career, Jupiter here thrives in leadership, law, education, business, or government, any field where knowledge, integrity, and long-term vision create growth. You have the potential to rise to positions of authority, often earning recognition later in life after years of steady work and perseverance. In health, balance is found through rhythm and moderation. You are at your best when you respect your limits and nurture both body and mind. Faith, rest, and reflection are as vital to your well-being as discipline and structure. Financially, Jupiter in Capricorn, or the 10th house, brings steady prosperity over time. Your wealth grows through responsibility, strategic planning, and dedication rather than chance. Every success you achieve feels earned, and that makes it deeply satisfying. When Jupiter in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign to believe in your long-term goals. The universe supports your ambition, but it asks for patience and structure. A slow climb now will lead to rewards that endure. So ask yourself, am I rushing the process, or am I willing to build something of lasting value step by step? Because Jupiter in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that true abundance does not come from expansion alone, but from wisdom, discipline, and the faith to build success that stands the test of time. Today we step into the structured, steadfast, and deeply masterful energy of Saturn in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. Saturn represents discipline, responsibility, and life lessons learned through time and perseverance. Capricorn is its home sign, giving this planet full strength and clarity. The 10th house reflects the same themes. It governs ambition, public life, and the legacy we leave behind. When Saturn is here, its influence is powerful, purposeful, and enduring, making this one of the most defining placements in the zodiac. This placement creates someone with a profound sense of duty and ambition. You are here to build something lasting, to climb to heights through patience, strategy, and integrity. At your best, you are wise, disciplined, and respected, capable of steady achievement and the creation of enduring success. At your most unbalanced, you may struggle with fear of failure, self-doubt, or the pressure of responsibility, forgetting that mastery is built through time, not perfection. In relationships, you value loyalty, reliability, and maturity. You prefer deep, stable connections that grow stronger with commitment and trust. While you may not express emotion freely, your devotion runs deep, and you show love through consistency and steadfast support. In career, Saturn here is the builder, the leader, the authority. You thrive in roles that demand accountability, patience, and structure. Business, government, law, or any field, where hard work and resilience lead to recognition. Success may come later in life, but when it does, it lasts. In health, strength develops through balance and pacing. You may carry tension or physical strain from responsibility or overwork, so rest and regular self-care are essential to maintain endurance and vitality. Financially, Saturn in Capricorn, or the 10th house, brings slow but steady growth. Wealth and stability come through consistent effort, wisdom, and long-term planning. With time, your hard work pays off in lasting security. When Saturn in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign of mastery and accountability. The universe is asking you to step into your power with patience and integrity, to build your future one careful step at a time. So ask yourself, am I resisting responsibility, or am I ready to claim the authority that life is calling me to embody? Because Saturn in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that true success is not measured by speed or recognition, but by the strength of the foundation you build and the wisdom that comes from perseverance. Today we step into the inventive, disruptive, and reforming energy of Uranus in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. Uranus represents innovation, freedom, and sudden change. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is practical, structured, and focused on long-term achievement. The 10th house reflects these themes. It governs career, reputation, and the systems that shape society. When Uranus lands here, it fuses rebellion with responsibility, making this one of the most pioneering and reformative placements in the zodiac. This placement creates someone who challenges tradition while understanding its value. You are here to modernize old systems, to reshape rules, redefine authority, and bring progress into established structures. At your best, you are original, visionary, and courageous, capable of building stability through innovation. At your most unbalanced, you may rebel against order for its own sake or struggle with inconsistency, needing to find freedom within form rather than in chaos. In relationships, you value independence and respect. You are drawn to partnerships that support individuality and personal growth, while still offering reliability and trust. Freedom and structure can coexist, and your task is to find that balance. In career, Uranus here thrives in technology, science, politics, management, or any field that blends innovation with organization. You are capable of creating groundbreaking changes within traditional systems, often revolutionizing how authority, business, or leadership is expressed. In health, stress may arise from pressure or unpredictability, so grounding practices and time in nature help you maintain balance. When your work aligns with purpose, your vitality strengthens. Financially, Uranus in Capricorn, or the 10th house, can bring sudden shifts or unconventional paths to success. You may build wealth through innovation, entrepreneurship, or forward-thinking ideas. Although progress may not follow a straight line, the outcome is often remarkable and enduring. When Uranus in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign of change within structure. A transformation is unfolding. one that challenges you to embrace new methods while maintaining integrity and patience. So ask yourself, am I resisting change out of fear of losing control, or am I ready to lead innovation with wisdom and purpose? Because Uranus in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that true progress is not about destroying the old, but rebuilding it stronger, fusing freedom with discipline to create systems that endure and evolve. Today we step into the visionary, disciplined, and quietly spiritual energy of Neptune in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. Neptune represents dreams, faith, and imagination. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is grounded, structured, and practical. The 10th house mirrors these themes. It governs career, purpose, and public life. When Neptune merges with Capricorn, or the 10th house, it blends dream with discipline, creating one of the most quietly powerful and purpose-driven placements in the zodiac. This placement creates someone whose vision is meant to take tangible form. You are here to turn ideals into structure, to bring spiritual, creative, or compassionate principles into the real world. At your best, you embody inspired leadership, guided by empathy, imagination, and moral integrity. At your most unbalanced, you may struggle with disillusionment, escapism, or blurred boundaries between reality and vision, needing to remember that dreams become meaningful when anchored in action. In relationships, you seek depth, devotion, and shared purpose. You value loyalty and stability, yet you also long for a connection that feels spiritually aligned. When trust and faith flow together, your love becomes both grounded and transcendent. In career, Neptune here thrives in healing, film, music, design, charity work, or spiritual leadership. Any path where creativity and compassion meet structure. You have the gift of turning dreams into something that uplifts others, but must guard against confusion or over-idealism in professional choices. In health, your well-being is tied to emotional clarity. Overwork or suppressed emotion can drain you, so balance is found in meditation, stillness, and honest rest. When your spirit feels nourished, your body follows. Financially, Neptune in Capricorn, or the 10th house, can bring inspiration through creative or spiritual work. Though it requires practical grounding, your success comes when vision meets strategy, when intuition guides, but discipline sustains. When Neptune in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign that a dream is ready to take form. The universe is asking you to turn imagination into purpose, to build something inspired yet enduring. So ask yourself, am I losing faith because I cannot yet see results? Or am I ready to trust that dreams grow strongest when given structure? Because Neptune in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that true magic is not found in escape, but in creation, in giving shape to the unseen and turning vision into a lasting legacy. Today we step into the powerful, disciplined, and transformative energy of Pluto in Capricorn, or in the 10th house. Pluto represents transformation, power, and rebirth. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is ambitious, patient, and determined to build lasting success. The 10th house mirrors these themes. It governs career, public life, and the legacy we leave behind. When Pluto resides here, its energy becomes focused and formidable, making this one of the most influential and transformative placements in the zodiac. This placement creates someone destined to wield power through endurance and mastery. You are here to rebuild, to reform, and to redefine what success and authority truly mean. At your best, you are a wise and transformative leader, able to create lasting change through strength, integrity, and vision. At your most unbalanced, you may struggle with control, fear of failure, or obsession with status, needing to remember that true power is not domination, but transformation. In relationships, you seek loyalty and emotional depth. You may find yourself drawn to partners who challenge you, helping you release old fears and step into maturity. Power dynamics can appear here, teaching you that vulnerability and trust are as vital as control and stability. In career, Pluto here thrives in leadership, politics, law, psychology, or business, any field where power and transformation intersect. You have the capacity to rise to great heights, but your soul's evolution depends on using power ethically and with purpose. You are meant to build not only success, but influence that transforms others for the better. In health, Change often comes through periods of deep pressure or renewal. When life demands transformation, your body reflects it, teaching you to let go of what is toxic, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. Regeneration and strength come from surrender as much as persistence. Financially, Pluto in Capricorn, or the 10th house, can bring dramatic rises and falls, teaching you to rebuild stronger foundations each time. Power and wealth may become themes of growth, pushing you to learn integrity in how you create and manage them. When Pluto in Capricorn, or the 10th house, appears in an astrology dice roll during a psychic reading, it's a sign of rebirth through ambition. A chapter of your life may be ending, clearing space for a new purpose, one that carries greater strength and depth. So ask yourself, am I clinging to control out of fear, or am I ready to lead with wisdom and transform through integrity? Because Pluto in Capricorn, or the 10th house, teaches that real power is not about authority alone, but about evolution, the courage to rise, rebuild, and leave behind a legacy of strength, truth, and transformation.